Hi, everyone. This is immigration lawyer John Khosravi. It's January 24, 2023. Already the first month of the year is almost done. Time flies. But we're here to answer your general immigration questions, as we always do. Again, I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us for our live Q&A session that we do every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, where we take your questions live by U.S. immigration on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. If you see me looking at different cameras, because I'm trying to look at everybody who's coming in here. We always have this edited clips of this, hundreds and hundreds of them that come on the Clips channel. There's a lot of content out there to help you, learn about what's going on in immigration. It is general education here, not intended for individual legal guidance. It's going to be different for everybody at the end of the day, how their case looks like. We're trying our best to answer it. Questions we get about timelines, which you get frequently, it's limited how much I could ask that, but answer that, because it's all over the place, frankly. But we have some new stuff, new information popping about that. I'm sure we're going to get to it. If you're interested in a marriage green card, a fiance visa, download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. It breaks down the process for you, so you have a better idea what's going on before you make the leap and you do it. So something important to think about if you're going into immigration, marriage immigration. Download the guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Again, that's marriageimmigrationlaw.com is one of the requirements there. For getting the free ebook, 40 plus pages. Having said that, let's start the show. All right, one of our regulars, JOT, says my 221G took 9 months in the U.S. consulate in Montreal. After the spouse interview, what should I do? Okay, so it's the embassy in Montreal there. They do consular affairs, and if you're going to do your green card in Canada, you go to Montreal. That's the embassy you go to. They have other consulates there, for example, in Vancouver, but for green cards, you all go, for Canadians, go to Montreal, Canada. Now, 221G, for those who don't know, is this thing called administrative processing, which says they're going to look into your case and follow up with you. And it's not clear how long that's going to take. A lot of times it takes a week or two, but sometimes it takes 6, 9 months. And when it starts taking that long, what we usually talk with clients about is filing a lawsuit against the government for these delays to help hurry the process up. Doesn't always work, but it's worth a shot. In this case, gentlemen, had 9 months of it, what I'm guessing nothing's happened. So in your case, you might want to schedule time with their office to talk about potentially suing the government for the delay, because I've seen these cases take years and years. Sometimes you'll get a notice saying, come. I've had cases take 9 months after administrative processing. This happened recently. We had a case in Ankara, Turkey. January, they had the interview, January 2022, and it wasn't until October 2022 that they sent email saying we're ready now to issue the visa. They gave their passport. It took 4 weeks, unbelievable, 4 weeks to return the passport with the visa stamp. So essentially 10 months of waiting on administrative processing. But that was done. So that's that. But I told a couple you could sue as well and give that a shot. But there's a lot of things that go on lawsuits. We have an attorney who does these lawsuits a lot that helps our firm. So if you're interested, schedule a consultation. We need to talk in private about it. But unfortunately, this administrative processing gets worse and worse every day. But it's just one of the hurdles we have to deal with in the immigration process. I'm going to jump to Instagram really quick. Ahmed says, hi, I'm from the UK, by the way. Good to meet you. Thanks for joining. I guess there wasn't a question there, but if you do throw it in, let's go back. Miguel asks, do I need to renew my passport before I apply for citizenship? I'm a permanent resident. So there's two aspects of that. I don't know the rules about maintaining a passport in the United States. People have it expired all the time if they're residents. They don't practically do anything. And for the citizenship, at most they want to get your passports to look at your travel history there to make sure that the entry-exit dates from the United States match your passport. I haven't seen them ever ask or make a requirement out of it. I'd have to reread the rules to make sure it's a rule, but practically speaking, I've never seen it be an issue. But whether it's an actual regulation that you have to maintain a proper passport, you do as a non-immigrant. So if you had a tourist visa, a student visa, a work visa, you are supposed to always maintain a valid passport. I'm not positive if it applies to immigrants, LPRs, lawful permanent residents, or not. So that's the best advice I have there. It's something I have to look into to see if it gets the rules. But practically speaking, I've submitted cases like this a lot, and it's not something they focus on. U.S. immigration. I'm sorry. Samuel says, hello. I entered the U.S. on a B1, B2 visa now. I changed to I-130, but I'm still in the United States. Well, I-130 doesn't change your status. That just says that you have a relative that's petitioning for you. So that doesn't help you at all with regard to staying in the United States lawfully or anything like that. So you're still on a B2, B1, B2, which is a tourist visa for personal reasons or for business purposes. But you got to maintain that visa or have another one to be able to adjust status. It depends on what you're based on that one. There's a lot going on here, Samuel. Essentially, I need to know who's the person that submitted the petition, what your intent was when you enter the United States, and then all this other background information. Those first two I just mentioned, in particular, see if you could still get a green card in the United States, or you have to leave, and then how quickly you need to leave to avoid what's called 3 or 10-year bar. So a lot of stuff going on there. I'll jump to Instagram really quick. AMG says, I want to ask, I'm considering applying for the EB-5 visa. If the bank lends the money, I think I may need a waiver. Do you guys help with that? Well, I'll be, bank lending you that money, maybe, but the waiver, it depends on what kind of waiver you need. So it depends on what the thing that you did wrong was, because the EB-5 is an immigrant investor program. The waiver for that is hard to get. It depends on whether it's a fraud-based waiver or a 3 or 10-year bar waiver. And for those, you need to have a qualifying relative many times. So we need more information there. And then if you're borrowing money to invest, we got to make sure the loan is done properly. So it's not secured by the investment that you're going to be investing in. So there's a lot of stuff over there. Very unlikely scenario, this whole thing that you're telling me. But hey, if you want to schedule a consultation, unlikely in many senses, particularly how difficult it's going to be and whether banks can give a loan and whether you get a waiver. But it's not, you might have a chance. I don't want to be pessimistic about it. Let's just schedule a consultation in the office and we can schedule a time. Having said that, I think something I forgot in the intro is that we provide 3 free video consultations for winners, a raffle. Every show that we have us live, all you got to do is ask a good question. My wonderful assistant, Katrina, and myself will randomly pick people throughout the show, usually every 10 minutes, and winners get 15-minute free video consultations where we can talk in private about a case. So keep an eye on that. My assistant, Katrina, usually is going to name people off in the background, and I'll name them off. So just ask a question, like and subscribe, and write consultation or ask a question. Don't spam it and ask the same thing over and over again. People do that sometimes. We're going to have to kick you out of the show if you do that. Keep asking the same question over and over again. I think we're already getting one here is doing that. Nima, please don't keep asking your question, or just going to boot you out of the situation here. But it's just hard to keep track. We have hundreds of questions coming up. If you keep asking it, it's going to become a problem. Okay, please stop. And the problem is when you type here, all these other words come. Okay, having said that, let's get to the next question. Carmen asks, if a B2 visa holder applies for adjustment of status, is his immigration status changed? So did the immigration status change? No, the filing of an immigration case, adjustment of status, does not change your immigration status. You have a B2 visa, either you maintain that in some way, change it, or it ends and you fall out of status. When you file for adjustment of status from I-485, if it's properly done, you're in a period of authorized stay according to the Attorney General of the United States. POSABAG is the POSABAG or something like that. But essentially, we call it a period of authorized stay, which means that as a policy matter, USCIS will generally avoid trying to kick you out or send to immigration court until a decision is made on your case, and you will not accumulate what's called unlawful presence time while in the United States. That's a whole concept I'm not going to get into here. So it doesn't change your status. As a policy matter, though, they'll just say, okay, hang out for a little bit. We'll see what's happening and take it from there. So that would be the situation. There no status change, just the situation would be different. Now, quickly, I want to name our winner for our first raffle free video consultation, Samo. You asked a question. Just take a screenshot of wherever you're watching this and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com, so I know it's your screen name and your username and your email, and I'll reply with information about scheduling a private video consultation. Having said that, for those just tuning in, just ask a good question, like and subscribe, or if you really want to just write consultation, and we'll pick 2 more people to get free video consultations out to talk about your case in private on the show. And if you haven't already and you're interested in getting a marriage case, a fiancé visa case, the first place you should go to is the www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com and download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at no cost. It's marriageimmigrationlaw.com is the website. Download it there. Okay, so next question. Sue asks, hi, John, do you have any news about the Visa Bulletin Family F1 movement in coming months? No, they don't really red light or green light or give information about what's going to happen with the Visa Bulletin. Frankly, I don't think they know what's going on. So there's been not much movement in the family-based categories for visas. Unfortunately, they kind of installed F3 and F4 in particular, but no news, unfortunately, just waiting. Michelle asks, my spouse has over 20 Social Security credits, and I have over 20 Social credits that were earned while married in the United States under 10 years. Therefore, the affidavit for can be waived. Consultation. Michelle, so let me back up. I don't know the exact answer to this. Never had a dual situation, but when you apply for a green card, family-based, or it's employment-based if you own partially the company, but that's a rare case. There has to be an affidavit of support signed. Affidavit support says the petitioner, the person starting the family-based case, or a joint sponsor, someone who's a green card holder or citizen who's domiciled living in the United States, is going to do the affidavit support, sponsor them. There's an exception for that if you worked I think it's 40 quarters in the United States for the Social Security office. They mark that they know you've been paying into the Social Security system, and that way you can waive the requirement for the affidavit support. Now, in this case, they have one spouse at 20, the other spouse at 20. Could he add them together? I haven't had that scenario, so I would need to reread the regulations to see if that's possible or not. So I don't have an answer, but that's the explanation of what your question is about. You know, we'll have my wonderful sister Katrina name off somebody. Hopefully it's you that wins. But interesting question. It's something I would need to read the regulations on to see if we could put them together, or if it's just one person, the beneficiary. You know, the job has to be lawfully earned. You have to have a visa with it. A valid work authorization. So for those, a lot of people are listening, if you're in the United States and without authorization, without work authorization, earning this income, that wouldn't be able to be used. It has to be lawful income for that. I've been asked, what financial documents do I need to send to National Visa Center? This is a huge question. Check out the affidavit support requirement for the petitioner sponsor and maybe a joint sponsor. You need proof of their income, tax returns, pay stubs, W-2s, and it depends on how they earn their income. If they're self-employed, they're employed with someone else. So there's a lot of things that go on there. Essentially, you got to show that you've been making money. You are making money. That's the short of it. But I have a detailed video on all this stuff. Just type in JQK Law affidavit support, or better yet, JQK Law consular processing, and I'll talk more about it there. There's a long video there. But that's a big question. Usually, we have a private consultation to go over your case or to see what the sponsor is going to do financially. Norma asks, I'm a petition for my unmarried son, number 21. And from August 2018 in the U.S. and don't hear nothing at all. Well, unmarried son over 21. Are you a citizen or green card holder? That's a difference. But I don't know about your case, whether you're supposed to have heard something or not. So if you file the I-130, I think you're saying, it could take several years to be adjudicated. At the minimum, when you file a case, you have to get a USCIS receipt number, and you can check that receipt number on USCIS.gov, their case status check, and you can check there. Because this case takes probably 9 to 11 years or something like that, 7 to 11 years, it's not a priority to get the I-130 approved that quickly because they have more urgent cases. But check the case status. If you don't have a receipt, that's a problem because you may not have a case. It might have went to the wrong place, got lost. I don't know. So as long as you have a case, it should be okay. These cases are backed up, so last 3-5 years, it doesn't make a difference. I mean, it does make a difference, but essentially, your case hasn't moved forward during that time and that much, anyways, to say we need to do it. But if you feel there's a problem or it's missing, you should contact USCIS to see what's going on. We have a question that says, in the U.S. on a student visa now, engaged, want to stay in the U.S. What's the best process from Canada? Best thing to do is download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com and get it there. Then schedule a private consultation, talk about it. The guide will really help you. There's a chart in the first page of the guide that breaks down what you're supposed to do. But more than that, we got to talk with one of my associates or something like that to see what's going on. But thanks for your question, Jotsa. I'm going to say, how much a consultation, sir? It depends on the case. Email the office, and we could talk about it there. We don't talk about costs and fees during this session. Mike says, my brother is waiting over 2 years for asylum interview. Can he file writ of mandamus to sue USCIS? Is it unreasonable waiting 2 years? For asylum, there's people waiting 7 or 8 years right now. So is it unreasonable? Honestly, it's all unreasonable. More than a day is unreasonable. They got the form stages, but so that's unreasonableness is a subjective standard. But you can always file sue the government for delay and see what happens. It's up to you if you want to do that. Some people don't want it because they might have a weak asylum case. Better just get the work permit and hang out. But it is a personal strategic decision. So you can always sue. Whether it's going to be successful or not, or what could be argued and stuff, it's a case by case basis. Tara asks, if I have an EAD as work permit, but I-485 is processing, can I apply for my husband independent? I'm not sure what you're trying to say here, or what the situation is. Having a work permit is its own thing. Having I-485 processing means you have a green card processing. If you need to apply for your husband, probably assuming that means your husband's overseas. What you should have done in that kind of case is file the form I-824 with the I-485 application. So once your adjustment of status green card is approved, the case will be sent to the embassy for your husband to finish it up. Now, potentially, your husband might have like H-1B, H-4 visa, your H-1B. They could come here and adjust status with you. Tara, just too many. I need to know where your husband is, what the base of the I-485 is, why you're separate, if you could come or not, what kind of visa has. I need to know a lot of these pieces of information to see what you can do for him to try to get the process faster. Filing I-824 is the last resort. You really don't want to do that because it costs a bunch of money for something that takes forever. It's kind of like an annoying thing to do. But we would need more about that. And my wonderful sister Katrina has named you as our winner of a raffle. Great choice. I'm interested in talking with you. So Tara, if you haven't already, take a screenshot where you're watching this so I can see your username and know it's you, and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com. That's info@jqqlaw.com, jqqlaw, like Jacqueline King. And we'll schedule a private video chat with you and your husband to see what's going on and how we could help you there. For those asking questions about how long for children or something like that, you got to go to a website called the Visa Bulletin, the Department of State Visa Bulletin, and check your category and based on what country you're from, what kind of case it is, all this kind of stuff. Because when someone says, how long for, adult child of age 21, well, I need to know what country they're from. I didn't know if you're a citizen or green card. And then, so it's a lot of back and forth asking questions when then we have like 1,000 questions where people have full information. So can't answer that, especially timelines. I can't really answer. But go to Visa Bulletin, type in Visa Bulletin in Google, and the Department of State website comes up. Check for yourself how long it is. Best to learn it yourself. So you always do it. You don't have to ask me. You just do it right there. We'll take the next question. Nawal says, hi, my spouse has an interview coming up. Does the embassy only accept tax transcripts, or can I accept tax return documents? Well, you should have uploaded them. That's the system there is. Sometimes they say bring in a person. It's up to the embassy. More and more embassies are asking for tax transcripts, which you can get from the IRS website most of the time, which is a 4 to 8 page synopsis of your tax return. It also acts as confirmation that your taxes have been sent. So if you can get that, it's much better to have that because embassies more and more are asking for that. But if you can't, then do the tax return and explain it and hope for the best. Habib says, sir, I'm a green card holder. I've been out of the U.S. for 3 years. Now I'm doing SB1 visa. I got approved for first interview. DS-117. Now I have another appointment at embassy for DS-260. Do you think I'll get the visa? I don't know. It's not up to me. I think it's a bad idea to file for an SB1, but that's how much I'll talk about it here. You should have scheduled a private consultation with me. I'll give you better advice. But yeah, just you're in deep now. So just take care of business. I have no idea whether you'll get it or not. 51%, you're not going to get it, but it's not 49%. That's not bad. Brandon says, I just recently started working full-time to get the process going for a fiance visa for my girlfriend in Canada. I obviously won't have income taxes for the year before this one. Is one tax return enough? That's going to depend on the embassy, what they feel about it. So typically, if you're going to do consular processing where a case goes to the embassy for an interview, I like to have more tax returns. With the different lawyers have different policies on this. I'm in the minority on this. But if you're doing it in the United States, I file cases sometimes where a person has a current income, even if they haven't had it in the last 3 years. I've always had success with that, even though a lot of lawyers and most lawyers wouldn't do that. I just, work for somebody. We did that a couple of times when I first started through him, and then I realized it always works. So I put people through the hassle of saying, go find a joint sponsor or wait another year. But if you're going through the embassy, they could be more strict. Canada may be more lenient. If you go to India, Pakistan, Iran, or China or something like that, I wouldn't do that. Southeast Asia, honestly, anywhere Western world. But the embassies there I've seen are more strict on this issue. But give it a shot, and if they don't like it, then find a joint sponsor, or maybe by that time it's gonna be, because right now you're looking for a fiance visa. By the time your fiance visa I-129 petition is gonna get approved, it's gonna be another year. So then that way you'll have like another year's of tax return. And then by the time it gets national, so you have more time to accumulate more tax returns, have pay stubs, show continuous income, all that kind of stuff, new W-2s and stuff like that. So just get the process started. That's the best thing to do. But schedule private consultation. We can talk about in more detail. Lynn says, why is my lawyer saying I shouldn't regularly check my online status? It delays my case. I've heard rumors that every time you call them, it delays the case. But you're just trying to drive yourself crazy. Just go to the online website, uscis.gov, put your case number in, and it's going to be there. Don't obsess over the case. That's probably what's happening. Drive so crazy. But they say that every time you check on your case, I've heard that they take the file out, review it, and they put it back in the line. I'm not sure if that's true. We never had corroboration on that. But there's no point checking your case every day if it's not too extended. Just wait for it. Now they ask if the National Visa Center called saying your medical expired, are they going to send back your passport? Did interview already? The National Visa Center wouldn't be calling you at all, so it might be saying the embassy. Embassies are supposed to email you, but sometimes they don't. They just call and they're not supposed to. When it's expired, you got to get a new one. So you get a new one, send it. It depends. I got to see what's going on there, but you got to get new medical if it's expired and send it. And they may send your passport back or say, listen, we'll hold on to your passport until you give us the medical, and then we'll just approve the visa and they give you the passport back. So it really depends on the scenario that's involved there. Quick question on Instagram. Cindy said, hey, John, how long for 21-year-old daughter petition documented mother? A 21-year-old daughter petition a documented mother. It depends if they're in the United States, probably a year or two. Undocumented mother. I'm not sure if they'll be able to take a petition. I'm not sure if you get that case approved. Cindy, I'd love to talk with you in private. Payev says, hi, John. I served my military service at the IRGC in Iran. On that time, I already had my green card. When I came to the U.S. I announced that to Homeland Security at the airport. Now, after 5 years, I want to apply for citizenship. Is this an issue? Well, we got to make sure you mention on your form DS-260 when you got the green card. It seems like you said you did. I haven't seen the membership in the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps be a problem for citizenship. It 100% leads to denial of green cards to the embassy. That happens right now for the last two and a half years or something like that, since January 2020. But I haven't seen it be a problem for citizenship as long as you told them in the form DS-260 when you went to your interviews, so they don't accuse you of fraud. So that's something you want to look up or maybe get a FOIA for a copy. I may go ask more questions. I'm going to schedule a consultation. A lot going on in your cases that we should talk in private about. All right, let's get some more questions on the other ones. We only got like less than 10 minutes left. Next question from there. We already answered Natalie. Najim says, hello, sir. My parents in the U.S. in the AP visa office kept the passport. It's been over 6 months. Okay, your question is kind of like not well worded. Hello, sir. My parents' U.S. visa is in administrative processing. Officer kept the passports in over 6 months. Okay, you can ask for the passports back if you want, or you can sue them for the delays in administrative processing. These are different things you could do. Give it a shot. But if they need a passport, ask for it back, or sue them for the delay, or just keep waiting, whichever you want to do. Abe says, I added my spouse's information on my tourist visa application, but we weren't married then. I entered U.S. under tourist visa and married. Well, the interviewer asked me about it. It questioned my intent. Well, you might have committed fraud by lying that you were married, but you were not married. So I'm not sure. They asked about a fiance on a DS-164. You may have been answering as a fiance, but I'm not sure why you would say married if you're not married. So officer could have problems about it. I don't know. I have to see why you did that, what you did exactly, and then there's an error if you did it incorrectly and say you're married when you weren't. The officer could find problems with it if they want to, if they consider that misrepresentation. I don't know. It's a weird thing to say you're married when you're not married. I'm not sure why you would do that. Vanessa asks, do I still need to comply on an RFE if USCIS already approved my case and sent me my green card? You should respond to them and say, we got this RFE, not sure what to do about it. Be proactive because USCIS, if they make mistakes, they'll blame you for it. So you do want to respond and say, hey, listen, I don't know what your RFE says, so it depends on what's on there. But at the very least, respond and say, we got the green card, we're confused. So at least you always come back later and say, we try to respond, we don't know what's going on. User 64 says, immigrant visa better or visitor visa better for parents? I mean, do your parents want to live here? Then immigrant visa. If they want to visit here, visit. It's that you should ask them, not me. I don't have it. I can't tell you what your parents want to do, so ask them. I don't know what to tell you. Public charge. Everyone must file an adjustment of status application. Most people will need to file the public charge portion of the adjustment status application. There's nuances for don't, but I can't go into like the 1% things in this video. Now, quick question on Instagram. Malik asks, how long is it taking for that removal of conditions I sent if I want to process? Question jumped around. How long? And process national, are they required to interview again? So the question doesn't make sense because you're saying how long does the I-751 process take at the National Visa Center? The National Visa Center has nothing to do with the I-751 process. And so I think you meant USCIS. It's taking between 6 months to 4 years right now. It's kind of crazy, but USCIS announced they expect removal conditions from I-751 to take up to 4 years. That's why they're they're giving automatic 4-year extensions on green cards for removal of condition cases. So in my cases usually get down 6 months, so a year and a half, sometimes 2 years. It seems like it's going to go to 4 years. It's out of control, and that's that. And they may or may not do an interview, and it's up to them if they want to do that. Malti says, if you had a degree, could you apply for work permit? No, having a degree has no bearing on whether someone's getting a work permit or not. Barry Boo says, hello, John. Thanks for your advice. You're welcome. Could you please recommend the best process to follow to immigrate to the United States, consular process adjustment status as an immediate relative? Thanks. There's no best or worst. They have pros or cons. So if you are able to lawfully enter U.S. with the right intent or right visa, adjustment of status may be a possibility. It may cause you, for most cases, to be locked into the United States. You can't leave. If you have a relative back home you need to visit because they're sick or something like that, you're stuck here. So you get advanced parole. That's problematic. You usually don't have work authorization. Again, this is all usually because you might have an H-1B visa that makes it okay to travel to work. I don't know. But generally, for most people, there's that. So sometimes people are like, I can't come. I have work back home. I can't get locked in for 7-8 months before I can leave. But it's going to be faster right now. Whereas if you go consular processing, it's going to take longer. But once you enter the United States, you're going to enter as a green card holder. So that's good. So there's pros and cons to it. There's costs and profits to it. So I can't tell you, I can't recommend anything to you. I don't know anything about your personal life and what your goals are. And that's what really a consultation is about, to see what are your goals in life, so we can adjust things to what you want. So that's that. But thanks for your question, everyone, in kind words. I'm going to take a couple quick questions on Instagram. Papaduch says, if you send the RFE both, it has not been updated. What do you before 2 months deadline? I think you submit an RFE response and then not update the USCIS.gov website. They don't always do that, unfortunately. They don't always update it. It says, the way Instagram does these questions is so horrible. Hard to read what's going on. Okay. Ava says, any impact issues with requesting a FOIA Freedom of Information Act request if you have an I-751 pending? Generally, no. I can't say for sure. Generally, no. Okay, Pay, if I already answered your question on that, but it's best to schedule private time. I can't give case-specific advice, but if you're honest about it, then you should be okay. But things would change. It might change rules tomorrow too. So I can't say any of this with certainty, unfortunately, because the government keeps changing stuff. Okay, one or two more questions, and we'll call it a day. Ayan says, VAVA approval wait time. I don't know. It varies. And you want to travel, it depends on what your status is and what kind of protections you get, like advanced parole. It depends on where your case is. So I can't answer that here, Ayan. Omar Khan says, really confused about my situation. Always try to ask to get the answers, but I don't get it. I'm divorced with 10-year green card. How to prove our relationship was in good faith and was a bona fide for citizenship? Well, it probably not. It depends on how weird the situation is, but there's no real point if you have a 10-year green card to get into your marriage at the time of citizenship, unless there's something weird in your case. And how do you show it? We need documents, joint bank account, joint leases, or something like that. That's it. I'm not sure why you can't get an answer from that one, but that's a simple answer right there. Mo says, someone has their green card but no work permit travel authorization. Once you have a green card, you're not going to get work permit and travel authorization because the green card itself acts as a work permit and gives travel authorization. Hopefully I'm answering your question correctly. Ryan says, do you deal with people who have a DUI in Canada? I mean, I don't know criminal law, but let's say if you're applying for a visa in the United States or a green card or citizenship and you have a DUI, yeah, that I can help with that. I need to see the situation, but that's something that does happen. Yeah, email the office. One says, can I check re-entry permit status online? I'm guessing that's pending. Yeah, you use your case number, go to USCIS.gov. There's a thing there. I'm going to take a quick question on Instagram. Arian says, how long does a petition for alien relative take for a green card holder in 2023? There's 5 different categories of petition for alien relative. And then depending on what country you're from, there's different delays. So just not enough information. You know what country you're from, what kind of type it is. And you check whether it's citizen or green card holder applying for you. So there's just not enough information based on your quick question for me to be able to answer that properly. I'll take one more question. We'll call it a day. Okay, so Rushma asks, can a dependent apply if spouse in F1 visa is an undergraduate? Can a dependent apply if spouse? I mean, are you talking about F2 spousal visa? Sure. I think there's more to your question that I'm not getting. But yeah, I'm not sure. Your question may be wrong, but I think you're saying like someone has an F1 and you're the spouse and you want to get a spousal dependent visa. Yeah, you just apply for the F2. I think that's what you're saying. Let's get one more question in and call it a day. Haleen says, I sent 5 on processing times delayed 4 years now. Okay. Would affect my case too, as I have also applied for naturalization. It's not it may or may not affect it, but if you have citizenship case pending, just worry about your citizenship case and they'll get adjudicated at the same time that your citizenship case comes for interview. That's what's the policy right now. And last question, Super says, can I file for VAWA after annulment? I don't know. I don't handle too many VAWA cases. We have an attorney in our office who does, but I don't have an answer. I'm not personally, I'm not a VAWA attorney, but we have associates that could help with that. So schedule a consultation. We can look over that. All right. Thank you everyone for coming in. Hope I did some good here, but we'll be back next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time to take your questions live. God bless. Be safe. And talk to you all soon.